Dark waters of Loch Ness. For centuries, they've held one of the world's most enduring mysteries. But just recently, a new piece of evidence popped up, captured by someone who knows these waters like the back of his hand. And believe me, it has given the legend of Nessie a shocking new dose of credibility. So let's dive right in and see what was found. Now listen to this. Those are not the words of some tourist, seeing a floating log for the first time. No, that comes from Sean, a guy who has spent nearly a decade operating a tour boat on Loch Ness. He said that right after his sonar equipment picked up an image so bizarre, so huge, that it has completely reignited the hunt for whatever is living down there in the depths.
So, the big question is, what did Sean actually see? This wasn't just another blurry photo or some bit of debris. No way. This was a clear, massive contact on some seriously state-of-the-art sonar, and it had some very peculiar features.
Okay, so let's break this down, because the details here are what really matter. First off, Sean described the object as bigger than his entire boat. Just let that sink in for a second. But here's the kicker. It's all about the shape. That distinct curve is the crucial detail, because modern sonar interprets a shape like that as evidence of air. And what has air inside it? Lungs, intestines. The hallmarks of a living, breathing creature. That is not a log. This sighting was so compelling that an investigative team decided they had to check it out. And they didn't just go out in any old boat. They rented the exact same boat Sean used, armed with the same technology, to see if they could find this anomaly again.
All right, so we can all play Monster Hunter for a minute. Let's do a quick crash course on how to read this screen. It's actually pretty simple. That solid line way down at the bottom, that's the floor of the loch. All the black space is just the water. Now, any little blip or shape you see is a contact. It means the sonar has bounced off of something. But the thing you're really looking for is that curve. That's the signature that just might mean life.
You might be thinking what I was thinking. A dark lake, a mysterious creature. Why on earth would you search for it at night, right? I mean, it seems like you'd be making an already impossible job even harder.
Well, here's the theory. The thinking is that Nessie, or whatever's down there, is nocturnal. It stays deep in the dark waters during the day, to avoid the light and all the boats, and then rises closer to the surface at night. And this isn't just a wild guess. Turns out other nighttime sonar expeditions have also picked up large, unidentified contacts, so there's actually some real method to this madness. Okay, before we get too carried away, let's be good investigators. You always have to rule out the known possibilities first. Are there any real-world animals that could be mistaken for a monster? And the answer is, yeah, a definite yes.
Let's look at the two leading scientific theories. First, the European eel. In deep, dark waters, like Loch Ness, you can get this phenomenon called deep-sea gigantism, where creatures can grow much larger than normal. Then you've got the sturgeon, a prehistoric-looking fish that can live for over 150 years and grow to be absolutely massive. Both are pretty plausible candidates for a monster sighting.
But let's stick with the eel for a second. When we say enormous, what does that actually look like? Well, get this. One European eel caught in the region was reportedly 5.2 meters long. To put that into perspective, one of the investigators on the boat described that length as stretching from his seat clear across the cabin to the other wall. Imagine an eel that long. It could absolutely be mistaken for a monster, especially when you learn they can also slither on land, which might explain some of those historical sightings of a creature with humps. But here's where it gets even weirder. It's not just what was seen, it's where it was seen. Sean's incredible sonar image was captured right next to the only island in Loch Ness, a place with its own deep and mysterious history. See, this isn't a natural island. It's a cranorg, an artificial island built by ancient inhabitants way back around 500 AD. So for over 1,500 years, this structure has been a silent witness to the loch's secrets. And what's remarkable is that this isn't a new phenomenon. The very first recorded monster sighting, way back in 500 AD, happened right near this island. Then in the 1880s, long before the modern Nessie craze, boaters reported being pushed towards the island by something with a back like wet barrels. And the sightings continue through the 1900s, all centered on this one spot. Now, you fast forward to last year, and Sean captures the clearest evidence yet in the exact same location. That is an incredible pattern spanning centuries. And the mystery doesn't stop in the past.
Even today, divers working around the Crannog have reported bizarre, sudden drops in water temperature, these inexplicable cold zones. They've also seen massive, unexplained shadows moving in the depths, which just fuels theories that the island might hide an entrance to a whole network of underwater caves.
But here's the twist. Despite being in the exact same spot, on the same boat, with the same technology, the new search team could not replicate Sean's massive sonar contact. They found smaller objects, but nothing close to the size of what he saw. So, what does that mean?
Let's just summarize the evidence. In the For a Creature column, we have Sean's incredibly compelling sonar image, we have plausible biological candidates, like a giant eel, and we have centuries of consistent historical sightings all clustered in one location. But in the Against column, well, we have the inability to replicate that one key sighting, and the fact that no definitive physical proof was found.
So, what should we take away from this? Maybe the answer isn't about finding one single piece of evidence that proves everything. Maybe the real power of the Loch Ness legend is the sheer weight of all the strange evidence combined, the historical accounts, the scientific possibilities, and the modern technological readings that all point to something unusual in the water.
Ultimately, the loch holds its secrets tight. Sean's sonar image adds a fascinating and compelling new chapter, but it doesn't solve the mystery. It leaves us with the same question that has captivated the world for generations. What truly lies beneath the surface? A legend? A giant eel? Or something else entirely?